If you knew you were 90 years old and you woke up today at your current age, what would you do differently with your second chance? I remember, I don't know who asked me that question, and it got me thinking because for a long time I'm like, dang, like I've missed out on so much opportunities. I'm in my 20s. There are certain things that I should have done with my life, and I haven't yet done them. And like each year is going by, I'm losing time. And that question gave me a very massive reframe because now it's like I have a second chance. So if I was 90 years old and I woke up today at my current age of, I will not tell you, at my current age, what would I do differently with my life? Everything. Everything. First of all, I'll be so grateful to have my family around me again because I'm at 90, like that's when everyone's gone. And it's just probably you and like that best friend of yours that smoked 10 packs of cigarettes a day and still somehow survived and lived to be 100. um, but no, I think I would definitely see life differently. Be a bit more fearless. I didn't mute.
You learned. I
Hi.
should say. Did I
Yeah,
just stop your podcast?
you just.
Hold on. Sorry. Put your phone on work mode so it doesn't
I
allow
know. I
calls.
did that the last time. I forgot. I forgot to do.
Okay, sorry.
Wait. Is that tea? Is that tea?
Oh, Tio.
Welcome to me and my imaginary friends. I'm glad you're here. Have you guys seen those videos when people ask older people, like, what's one thing, you regret or you wish you did differently in your life? And a lot of the time is, I wish I didn't care what anyone else said. I wish I spent more time with family. I wish I didn't work too hard. I wish I was, I pursued what I wanted to pursue. I wish I didn't marry too early or too young. There's so many I wishes. And to be young now, we can really learn from our elders in that regard. Knowing where we're headed, like, life, it's very linear. You're born, you live life, and then you're back one with the earth. On that journey back to being one with the earth, people that have gone through that journey and are way closer to that final line, telling you or saying that they wish they pursued things that they wanted to pursue and not cared about what people thought of them. It makes me grateful for that knowledge because now I can try to do everything that I want to do and not care about what other people say. I can try to be more present for my family. I can try to just enjoy Earth, enjoy life. I think last year was the year where I really had almost a sort of awakening. I decided to pursue a lot of things that I didn't allow myself to pursue. And I think most of that was just saying yes to things. I wanted to just come out of my shell and like experience life. And just say yes. Like, oh, do you want? Yes, I want to come. Yes. Include me, please. It's made me appreciate life a lot more. Everything else that exists around us is a construct of humanity. Earning a living, it's like the most insane term, to earn a living. How do you earn a living? You're alive. I struggle with that way of thinking. I struggle a lot with that. Because I don't know if we're meant to earn a living. I feel like we should just be great participants in this race called existence. To earn a living is just, it's insane. I don't know where I'm going with this. To go back to the question, if I knew I was 90 years old and I woke up to be my current age, I would wake up every morning and be thankful for my good knees, thankful for my good eyesight, thankful for my healthy joints, thankful for my friends and family that are still alive around me, thankful that I can get up from bed and, oh my gosh, pursue that dream again. Maybe invest if I know what exactly would happen. Well, this is not going back in time, right? It's not going back in time. So let's take a step back there. But I definitely would. Oh, I'll be so joyful. I think I'll be so grateful. I'll call like my mom, like, hey. Um, hmm, that got me emotional. Okay. Okay. Well, there's tears. Oh, I'll call my siblings, be hey, how are you guys doing? And I want to talk to them. Call my nephew. Why am I crying? It's such a simple question. Oh, whoa. I didn't expect this. Oh my god. Okay. Cut the cameras. And we'll be right back after this emotional breakdown. I mean, commercial break. Are you okay, Chelsea? I'm good. Okay. You ready? Yeah, I'm ready. Okay. And we're back. Hi. I apologize for that. Um I didn't mean to cry. This is the second episode. I shouldn't be crying now. Doesn't matter. So it's a deep question. As an artist, as a writer, I feel emotions quite deeply. I feel joy quite deeply. I feel sadness just as equal. And I noticed that, especially with the darker emotions, I definitely use art as my vessel to process that pain. Um, Something to do with your brain and how it works, the emotional part and the logical part. And I think that we could all use art to process pain. And people always think that art is, oh, you're a writer, or you're an artist, you draw, or you paint, or you dance. But I'm like, art is everything. Science is art, sports is art, medicine is art. It's all a form of expression to help discover yourself or the world around you through the lens of the medium you choose. And I think we can all process the sufferings of life through our diverse mediums. And mine, though, is writing. I want to share something with you, a written work I wrote. It's called Of One Still Blind. If to be human is to suffer, then to be human is to be free. For if one exists, the other must stand in the inverse. But there is no freedom without contentment. For in contentment alone is freedom true. Then surely contentment is the end we must seek. For freedom without suffering, and suffering without freedom's kiss, is the blind illusion of one who knows not what it is to be human. Still, I am yet to find my own eyes. I have been in search of what purpose is for me. And it feels like every time I come closer to some form of clarity, it's only through suffering or only after suffering. And then it makes me wonder, is that what the human experience actually is? To find clarity through suffering. To learn of oneself and one's environment through darkness. I don't know. What do you think? That was a piece of One Still Blind. I don't think I have the answer. I feel like, again, it's just a process. It's just a stream of questions that always just attack me. And I'm just wondering what exactly the whole point of life is sometimes. And it's not in a depressed or defeatist way. I am very grateful for life. And I think that life should be magical and beautiful and bright and joyful. And but again, balance is genuinely the core of what life is. Ebbs and flows, lows and highs. Sometimes life deals you very, very sour lemons. And I don't know about you, but I don't like lemonade. And my 20s have felt like a basket full of them. I won't go into details, but I don't think anyone really knows how to fully process the lows of life, because when you're faced with those lows, it can feel like you're falling into this dark abyss. And the longer you fall, the deeper you get, the darker it gets. And it's lonely down there. You lose all sense of self. And at times when you're faced with that, a lot of people find it hard to pull themselves out of that deep, deep abyss. And the more you stay down there, the deeper you fall until you literally lose your very identity, your light. How do you snap out of falling deep into an endless chasm of darkness? Snap out. Sounds like a magic trick. Snap out. Like, rabbit out of a hat. Stay with me for a moment. Let's paint a visual. You can close your eyes if you want to visualize this with me. If you're driving, please don't. Imagine you're literally falling down, falling into this dark chasm. Wouldn't it make sense for someone to throw you a rope, a parachute, reach out their hand and grab onto you? You can open your eyes now, by the way. I thought I was going somewhere with that eyes closing visual, but I clearly wasn't. Unfortunately, that's not life. Life isn't waiting for someone to come save you. I feel like if you want to ever survive the fall, waiting for a line that will never come would be a person's ultimate end. You are literally the only one that can save yourself. Then the question becomes, how do I save myself? How? How do you do that when you're in a perpetual state of descent? I remember when I had my season of fallen over the edge at different stages of my life. I was completely consumed by darkness. And I don't mean, oh, the demons, evil. I mean, the void. Like the light in me was dimming and extinguishing because I was falling. And it gets to a point when you stop screaming because it's exhausting. The energy it takes to grasp at rushing wind. It's just easier to allow yourself to fall deep. It requires the least resistance and, again, energy. So the tiny orb that is left within you starts to dwindle till you are nothing but a hollow vessel that has lost all sense of self and reality. And then you get to a point when the fall becomes normal. Like you don't remember a world when you weren't falling. Like that deep, hollow gut churn of fear, it's just perpetual. It becomes your reality because, in all sense, it is. And even the idea of steady ground beneath your feet becomes like super foreign, unimaginable. Hope starts to sound like make believe. It's no longer reality. It's a dream. That's why we call things that are not in our reality a dream. And a dream, to an extent, is that which is wanted or hoped for, but is seen as unattainable in our current state of reality. It bugs me actually when, you're talking to somebody and they're like, oh, yeah, I'm just being realistic. Isn't being realistic keeping yourself contained in the lens of your current reality? You're saying, in my current state of reality, this is the only truth. I think reality is what we make of it. Our reality is a byproduct of our choices. So if we make different choices, our reality changes and shifts. Anyways, I digress. This is the new normal. This fall is my normal. In another lifetime, maybe my feet could be on steady ground, but on this ground, this is me. I don't know what to say. This is me. This is life. This is how. So now imagine, how again does somebody snap out of that? How does a person survive that? I try my hardest not to judge the next person because I don't know what they're going through. I don't know how far down their fall is. I think we're all perpetually falling. It just depends on if we are falling at a slow pace. And if we do able to grasp onto the walls of the chasm and try to climb our way back up, that is a victorious story. Where am I going with all of this? You might ask. I wonder. Me too, Chelsea. Where are we going with all of this? As a person that has almost touched the ground of my own dark chasm, what rescued me was my creative outlet. Like truly, I think there's something to be said about using art to peel the film from our eyes, to dig within our soul and find that tiny pulse of light that was clogged by all the darkness and the rush of the fall. I'm trying to describe it in a way that doesn't feel so abstract. But one thing missing when one is falling, I think, is your passion. Your passion is an internal flashlight that illuminates within you a sense of purpose. Maybe not so clearly at first, but clear enough that you can finally see that you've been allowing yourself to fall. The act of that passion then gives you the tools to rescue yourself. And each day, little by little, the consistency in using your art to get out of your dark place is almost like an elevation. If depression was to be the opposite. I know I'm still sounding a bit abstract, but truly, there is a reason we have skills and God given talents. It's a gift that our soul can recognize to awaken it again beyond the physical. Art gave me a way to reach inwards and then to connect with my soul when I couldn't reach anybody else. I think art helps you shape your pain. Does that all make sense? Plushy? No, what's his name? Yes, it does. So profound. For me, I was faced with a placid acceptance that, if it's the end, then it's the end. Okay, whatever. This was me pretty much early 2020s into, I don't know, for quite some time. And again, I was struggling with this question of why am I here? Why am I wasting my life? What's my purpose? And the thought of writing kind of followed that question. Like, just write, just create something, like at least do that while you're falling. And that's what I did since 2022. I have been working on my West African fantasy series. It started as a very then insignificant reason, but in retrospect, a quite monumental reason. But it started because, yeah, again, I was falling in this perpetual state of this descent, and I wanted to process my emotions. And I write fiction mostly. So I decided to write this West African series for many reasons. One of it, I have been told by my dad a lot that, oh, hey, why don't you write something about your culture? You're Nigerian, like, write something about that. And I was like, okay, cool. And looking back, I can see how little by little, it was the very thing that cleared the fog off my eyes and gave me a way back to myself. Now, as someone who is standing on firm ground, I hope it feels firm enough. And after much work, including building my relationships with people, with God, with therapy, with my community and art, I see much clearly that the only way we can help the next person to see the chasm beneath them is through our soul tool, our talents, our passion, not to physically rescue them, but to illuminate their environment so they can rescue themselves. So be a light everywhere you go, because truly we do not know who is descending into the abyss and who is standing on firm ground. So if I was 90 years old and I have the second chance to be this age, I'll definitely be a light. Remember, you are the conductor of your own life. Turn your back on the audience. And I'm going to leave you always with this question. What story are you telling the world today? And more importantly, what story are you telling yourself? Thank you for spending time with me and my imaginary friends. Until next time, good morning. Good morning.